international rules-based order that is led by the West is completely silent as Israel continues their violent annexation of the West Bank. Israeli settlers consistently launch terrorist attacks on the West Bank in order to terrorize the Palestinian population, and this is completely sponsored and supported by the IDF. If Israel were truly at war with Hamas, why are they attacking and terrorizing Palestinians in the West Bank where Hamas has no power? Because the genocide of the Palestinian people had nothing to do with Hamas. It was all about Israel's goal to achieve the Greater Israel Project. Violent Israeli terrorists even killed an American in the West Bank. Meanwhile, complete silence by Donald Trump and United States politicians. Another example of how Zionism is a completely treasonous ideology. Israel's aggression in the West Bank is a blatant violation of international law. Meanwhile, European and Western nations are doing nothing but implementing fascism in order to punish their own people who support the Palestinian resistance against this Israeli terrorism. So Western governments are punishing their own people for quoting international law and the Palestinians' right to armed resistance, while European nations are supporting Israel in their criminal actions. Our government has been completely captured and serves the interests of Jewish supremacy.
What's poppin'? My friends and family, welcome back. It feels good to be back in the lab cooking, my friends. And I am unleashed. I am back in the lab, and I will continue to do my work of spreading anti-imperialist knowledge, debunking empire propaganda, informing this united front of the working class against the Epstein elite. What did I tell you guys after Donald Trump was elected? As the liberals was melting down and panicking and saying that this was the end of our democracy. Do you guys remember that? I told you guys, like, this is a fantastic opportunity for us. The same way that when Joe Biden was elected, that was a fantastic opportunity for us. Every single election, as time goes on, our ruling class is becoming even more illegitimate among the eyes of the ordinary working class people. Now, after the Epstein files release, these pedophiles in charge are completely naked. They are completely naked and they are completely exposed. And this is a massive victory for the working class. The fact that Donald Trump is historically unpopular. Because what did I tell you guys about that pendulum swinging? People thought Democrats were dead. They're like, no. What's going to happen is it will inevitably disappoint his base. That is exactly what I told you guys when he lost. And that will be our opportunity to peel away the working class away from disgusting MAGA politics. We're not going to shun them. We're not going to cancel them because they haven't politically grown yet. This is an opportunity to bring people to the revolutionary side. And there are countless examples I've seen of these Trump supporters realizing that the Marxist anti-imperialist critique of Donald Trump and his Mossad mafia was correct the entire time. So we tanky as fuck. Zoya, how many W's we've been taking as tankies over the last few years? Tankies have been vindicated about everything in the Epstein files, which we unapologetically support. We unapologetically bringing a Marxist analysis of the Trump-Epstein capitalist class, and we can use our messaging as a way to reach out to the working class people who was left behind and abandoned by our government. So I support a popular front against this. There's my friend Haas. Big shout out to him. You guys know this is a new era of RBN. This is the era of RBN who wants to play a crucial part of this unified anti-Epstein popular front. I had Haas on quite a few times. You guys know one of the subjects of the last few weeks is about how I associate with the ACP. Yeah, guilty as charged. Because you want to know who else I associate with? I associate with Worker Strike Back. I associate with the Green Party. I associate with anyone who wants to hold the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile elite accountable. So this is a fantastic call to arms, and that's what we should be focusing on. This massive call to arms to destroy these child torturing pedophiles. And now they want to destroy our Persian brothers and sisters. They want to murder as many Iranians as possible. They are mass murdering Cubans as we speak. So I think mass murdering Cubans, waging economic warfare, including sanctions on 1/3 of the world population. We're not going to spend our time tone policing the words of the working class. We're not going to waste our time on that bullshit. What we're going to do, we're going to form a unified front, even if it's people that we may disagree with on some issues, about how we destroy these motherfuckers. Yeah. Was there any doubt? Rome is not just only with us. Rome is the leader. Rome is my leader. Rome is the captain, my friends. Rome is the man that I said many times before inspired me to get into mutual aid. He is the man who inspired me to drop my democratic socialist bullshit. Because back in a lot of old school people know I had Rome back on. I had old friends in Rome years before RBN, and I had them on the show, and I was like, because my education and my path to radicalization was all about education. Because I was like, I was more of a democratic socialist. That's why I worked on the Bernie campaign back in the day. Then I used to do the show with Rome, and Rome be having he will have the communist a flag, the USSR flag, hammer and sickle flag. And I remember one day I was on, so like, hey, what's up? What's that about? I was like, make the argument to me. Why should we embrace communism? And I was sold. So Rome is the leader. I told you guys I'm not a leader. Rome is the leader. I'm his foreign policy advisor, the brains of the operation, whatever. But Rome is we'll see. You guys know more here soon. I mean, Rome is busy. He got a lot going on, but the future of RBN will be made clear to you guys here very, very soon. Rome is the leader. I'm just the think head. I'm the think tank manager. I am the strategist, the foreign minister, and we're gonna look to fill these roles. We're gonna fill these roles out, and we're really building a party, and I'm all for what Haas is talking about here, and that's why I have support with ACP, and I'm considered a comrade, but Rome will always be my leader, and I will always be with the Care Party, and we will be staying in solidarity with ACP, Workers Strike Back, Green Party, and anyone who wants to form a serious coalition against the Epstein class. So big shout out. This is a great. I'll read Haas's tweet because I think this is very relevant for tonight because I usually go live at 7, but I decided to go live an hour earlier so I can talk some shit a little bit. Because to me, the State of the Union is going to be garbage, but it's still worth covering because this is going to be Trump's response to his historic unpopularity. It's going to be hilarious to witness. And also on the eve of the Iran war, I think it's very important to see what these motherfuckers are about to say. So at least that's what I think. So you guys are at least going to get an hour of compelling ranting and Marxist education. Then in the second hour, once the State of the Union starts, I'm probably going to watch like 30 minutes of it. I'm not going to be here for fucking 3 hours covering State of the Union. Fuck that. So I may cover like 30, 45 minutes of it. I may do like an analysis afterwards because apparently what I heard is this is going to be the longest State of the Union address. And Trump was like, dude, this is going to be long. He has a lot to talk about, man. So we see. I stick around for maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour watching it with you guys, but I ain't fucking doing hours. I'm not doing hours long. So here's what is being called for. The big tent anti-Epstein Popular Front. Even if victory is impossible in the coming elections, the creation of an incorruptible third electoral party, People Tribune, will be a major achievement of the American people. So, are this the people that I'm not supposed to associate with? Like, once again, the challenge I have is find anything substantive that these people are saying that I'm supposed to be against. Like, I'm supposed to, like, you guys read this call for us to challenge the Epstein class, and people are saying I'm supposed to be against this, that I want to be up against this. Within this coalition, a true internal battle of ideas and debate will be possible. It's not possible under the duopoly. Once again, I'm post-duopoly. This is what we should be organizing for. You can debate me as much as you want. Any given number of policies can be as popular as possible, and you can have the best ideas, and you're still going to face an Epstein ceiling. He's saying you guys can be upset at ACP, you can be upset at him, you guys can be upset at and pick apart the ideals of the working class all you want. That's what he's saying. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the Epstein class will win if we don't fucking unite. And who disagrees with this? And there are people on the left who actually like, no, I don't want to form this coalition. I only want to form a coalition with people who believe in the same professional managerial class decorum that I do. I only want to organize with people who talk the same way that I do, who have the same cultural preferences than I do. How are we going to defeat the Epstein elite with this strategy? And this is the message of the unapologetic new Marxist-Leninist RBN. And Rome was the first motherfucker talking about communism. Rome is the most radical motherfucker against capitalism. So when I went to Rome and I was like, hey man, I think we need to make RBN exclusively communist. Do you guys think Rome opposed that? I was like, hey Rome, what are you gonna do? I'm not gonna be leader. I'm not leadership worthy. You're gonna be the chairman, my brother. I'm gonna ride and die for you. I'm gonna be your messenger. I'm gonna be the think tank of this new party. No more leaderless movement bullshit. No more revolutionary adventurism. No more liberal RBN. Leaderless movements, all this stuff. I tried there. I've been there. I've done that. It does not work. So once again, not even me swallowing my pride. I was about to say that, but it's not even me swallowing my pride. I will follow Rome into war. I know Rome will never betray me. I will follow Rome into war, and that's what we're gonna do. So I'm riding behind Rome. You can pick your leader. If you with ACP, you can ride behind him. If you riding behind Shaman, the Worker Strike Back. If you riding with Jill Stein, the Green Party, let's get to work, fam. That's what I want. Dude, I tell you, I fuck with Code Pink because what they do against the ruling class, but Code Pink been avoiding me like a motherfucker. They have a lot of professional managerial class left tendencies as well. So it's been clear that they've been trying to keep a distance from me, but it's okay. I'll fuck with Code Pink though, 100%. Let me read a few more super chats. I got 40 minutes. I still have a lot to cover. I want to get to the Pentagon warning about Iran. I definitely want to get to that before the State of the Union, so I got to speed it up, I guess. But yeah, I like Code Pink, but they definitely tried to avoid me. Let's just say that. Good for them. Good for them in the activism, though. Thanks for the 99, Sean Taylor. RBN, absolutely. What's up? What's popping, my brothers and sisters? What's popping? All right, let's finish this. But anyway, actually, I can end there. This is a good thread that sums up what I believe what we should be doing. We need to have an anti-Epstein popular front that has to be post-duopoly. The reason why the DSA, Democratic Socialists, AOC, they can't be trusted because they will always betray the working class on behalf of Democratic Party interests. It has to be post-duopoly. It has to be. And that's why I support. So it's going to be interesting to see how Donald Trump approaches this, because this is like we have the momentum. The people are against our criminal ruling class. There is no true democracy in the United States. The United States Congress has approval ratings around 15 to 20%. The will of the people are not reflected in policy. You can predict who's going to win each election based on who has the most money. The interest of the working class is not represented, and it's shown by how much they despise our leaders. In Fox News, like, damn, bro. And you guys realize that Donald Trump at this point in his presidency is more unpopular than anyone else ever at this point. This is a fantastic opportunity for us. President Trump's disapproval rating are hitting record lows compared to other presidents, leading to his State of the Union address, with George Bush at minus 11, Obama at minus 15, and Trump at minus 27. But guys, do you think that this is a reflection on how well the Democratic Party is winning over hearts and minds? It is absolutely not. Because Donald Trump's numbers are low, but the Democrat numbers are just as low. It's a fantastic opportunity for us in its popular front.
A new poll shows 60% disapproval of Trump, and this is just ahead of his State of the Union address, which is tomorrow. Guy Benson joining me now. Guy, what does he have to say tomorrow to swing voters kind of in his favor?
Well, Stuart, I think it's going to be a hard thing to do just because, as we've seen in recent years, it's kind of a self-selecting pool that watches these things at this point. So he'll have a lot of his own supporters tuned in. So I'd imagine to some extent it'll be preaching to the choir. There are people who are curious or barely follow politics who will get at least bits and pieces of it. That's the key audience, politically speaking, because you and I have said this before. We'll probably keep talking about it for months. When people start to feel a better economy, things could start getting better for the Republican Party. Unless and until that happens, it's going to be tough sledding like this, pun intended, with the blizzard in New York, because President Trump needs to not just tell people that things are getting better, they need to understand it on a very personal level. Now, one thing...
Doing the same thing that Joe Biden did. And this is my brother Nico House, my hotspot brother. He's always in the lab cooking as well. Make sure you guys check out his page. He released some banger hotspot videos on his X and Instagram and YouTube. So make sure you guys check out my brother Nico House. He said, "Gee, I wonder why," regarding Trump's historic unpopularity. Could it be the pedophilia? And then the fact that Donald Trump is waging a public pressure campaign against the Epstein victims? The Epstein victims are, hey man, we want you to redact the name of the criminals. And then Donald Trump, when asked about the opinions of the Epstein victim, he was like, I don't think we should be paying attention to those people. That doesn't really matter. Bro, what are you talking about? You think you're going to win a public war against the people who were victims of Epstein crimes? And there was a press conference, and the Epstein survivors are fucking Donald Trump up every day. They came out with a press conference. They like, we demand all the names be redacted. We are telling you guys right now there is evidence of Donald Trump raping kids, and they are blocking it. That was what the Epstein survivors said today. They are fucking Trump up, and they play a gigantic role in why Donald Trump is one of the most unpopular presidents in the modern day. Yeah, he said something along the lines like, "Yo, no," they was like, "Does it matter that Epstein victims want to have the full unredacted release of the Epstein files?" He's like, "Come on, it doesn't really matter what they say." Like, I was like, "Bro, what?" He said something along those lines. Like, it was wild. And because the only reason I saw it because there was a liberal like, man, can you imagine Donald Trump say he doesn't care about the Epstein survivors? Could it be the pedophilia? Could it be the wars and the war crimes? Maybe we see you acting like a gangster on the international stage. And now Democrats are in shambles because there are polls that show that they can't even deny the fact that the Gaza genocide is the number one reason why their voters didn't show up for them. And so the Donald Trump think he was going to get away with slaughtering children too? That's another reason. Could it be the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu visited him over double digits amount of time in just his first year? It's obvious you're acting on behalf of another state. You think America's going to be okay with that? Kissing Israel's ass? Could it be his unwavering dedication to protecting pedophiles? Or maybe all the above. This is a great tweet from my brother Nico. And fam, you realize that this shit is gonna get even worse because you have the war with Iran that is looming as we speak. As we speak, there's a looming war with Iran. And you have the top general of the Pentagon. This is one of my main stories today. You have General Dan Kane, who is an imperialist monster who supported Donald Trump uncritically when it came to capturing Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela and killing Venezuelans. But Donald Trump's top general is warning him. He is saying the same thing we've been explaining to you guys on the channel for years now, that Iran is not fucking Iraq. Iran is not Venezuela. That if you guys try to plunge us into war with Iran, you guys are going to get fucking smoked. And everyone who signed up in the military in order to fight and die on behalf of the Epstein regime and the Greater Israel Project, you deserve everything that's coming to you. You don't have public support, and your own people are going to get wiped the fuck out. Dude, actually, believe it or not, I actually got a lot of people from Japan who follow me. Look at this. I told you, we got an international audience. I'm not sure how many people watching from Japan, but I'm one of them. Based as fuck. Dude, because I've been, I do a few hotspot videos about Sane Takaichi. I've been covering Japan. Bro, my tweets on Japan always go viral. Like, my last few about Sane Takaichi went viral. So I actually got a lot of people from Japan who follow me. Believe it or not. It's actually wild. I'm doing pretty well when it comes to the international scene. I have a hard time with the United States leftists. That's for sure. But let's get back to a story that vindicates me and vindicates the anti-imperialist who was warning about the strength of Iran and the power of Iran. Now you have Pentagon that is leaking to reporters. Why do you guys think this leaking coming out? They are panicking. There is panic in the ruling class over this abysmal failure that they're being pressured in by the state of Israel. So Trump is fucked because remember, Donald Trump was scheduled to attack Iran last week. And I was like, dude, how is that going to work for you guys? You're going to get fucking smoked. Then it was delayed to next weekend. And then it was supposed to happen last weekend. And then it was delayed to this week. Bro, they are in shambles. Because you know why they're in shambles? Because I covered how there's a new strategic pact that was signed by Iran, Russia, and China. And they was engaging in military drills where they was shutting down the Straits of Hormuz. They saw how Iran was able to completely destroy Starlink. There's no way that they can counter the ballistic missiles. Trump generals are warning him, like, bro, if war with Iran start, you have Ansar Allah in Yemen who will be activated, who will start fucking our people up. Then you have Iran fucking up all the bases we have up, and we have no way to stop them. Because not only that, we have a munitions shortage. But before I get more into my analysis of this, because this is glorious, Iran has them in a checkmate. Why do you think that Trump and his team been saying that we're still negotiating with Iran over their nuclear program? Negotiating over what? Fam, they are stalling. They are stalling to try to find a solution. And there was even reporting that said where one of the Trump envoys went to Iran and like, hey man, can you pretend to agree to some harsh nuclear deal just so we can get like a diplomatic win and then we leave you alone? They found themselves in a tough position. Because everyone who's been covering this has been telling you guys this will be a disaster. But the Mossad agents in Israel and the Jewish supremacist lobbyists managed to convince this era of Nepo babies who are not good managers of the empire like the Henry Kissinger generation. And these Nepo baby idiots was actually convinced by the Epstein Zionist class that this is something that they should engage in. The same way they were tricked by the NATO elite that we should support the NATO proxy war, which has been a disaster for the West, has been a disaster for Ukraine and NATO and Europe. But let me read a few of these headlines because I'm going to show you guys how even Fox News, even the neocons and corporate media, as this shit is getting closer, they're starting to get cold feet. They're starting like, yo, how is this going to work? There are people who are deployed overseas to counter Iran, and the soldiers' morale are at record lows. The ships are breaking down. They're realizing they did not have a fucking plan for this. Trump's top general foresees acute risk in an attack on Iran. General Dan Kane, the Joint Chiefs of Staff chairman, has cautioned a lack of munitions and support from allies could mean greater danger for U.S. troops, people familiar with the discussions have said. Because you had Saudi Arabia that was like, man, we down to serve some Israel. We down to play ball with you guys. But this shit, hell no. Did Saudi Arabia refuse to support the war with Iran out of noble intentions? Absolutely not. You guys want to know why Saudi Arabia can't publicly come out and support Donald Trump's war with Iran? It's because the people in Saudi Arabia are extremely anti-Israel and pro-Palestine. That's why Saudi Arabia, they put out these fake-ass statements, and I don't trust the ruling class. Like, these people are operating in bad faith because I think there's still a chance that they may betray Iran, and that's still now off the table. But in Saudi Arabia, they're like, man, we're not going to have Israel normalization. Do you guys think they're opposing Israel normalization because the Saudi crown prince is against Zionism as principle? No, he's not doing that. Israel is so unpopular that these leaders have to have a front of plausibility. So that's why Saudi Arabia was like, hey, man, we're not fucking helping you. We don't support you on this. None of the Gulf Arab states support this. And a lot of them are saying, hey, man, if we allow you to use United States bases against Iran, then Iran will retaliate against us. And yeah, this is a good one. Good comment. It seems like this was all a big bluff, and Iran called it bluff. Yep. They absolutely did. Because Iran was like, bro, we're not negotiating any more over this nuclear program. I thought you destroyed it, by the way. We're not negotiating on that. We have been preparing for this since the 12-day war. We prepared our technology, and we prepared our ballistic missile systems, our series of allies and resistance groups. Iran has been preparing for this moment my entire life. And it has escalated since the war on Iraq. After the war on Iraq, Iran was like, all right, fuck this. We got to get ready because they're going to do this to us soon. And they've been prepared for this moment. Now, to be clear, there are criticisms of Iran in terms of how they let a lot of their proxy groups like Hezbollah fail, how they failed to protect Ansar-Allah in Yemen and many of these groups. But they still have Ansar-Allah. They still have resistance elements all around the Middle East who are ready to activate. Iran was like, bro, we have sleeper cells in places that you guys don't even expect. And soon as this war activates, they're going to activate and they're going to start fucking your shit up. And now the ruling class, whether Iran is telling the truth or not, is irrelevant because now the Epstein class is panicking. Why do you guys think the leaks are coming out? The media, and it's coming from corporate media headlines. These leaks are coming out because it's designed to put pressure on the Trump administration, and this is them begging him not to do anything fucking stupid. And this shows the incompetence of this ruling class. I'll supposed to show you my tweet because one of the reasons why I was just tweeting about this. On 1 second, let me pull up this receipt I posted. Here it is. One of the reasons the Pentagon is warning Trump about attacking Iran is because the United States depleted their stockpiles, killing Palestinians and arming Nazis in Ukraine. Remember how the West said it was going to degrade the military of Putin and Russia? Hey, whatever happened to that, by the way? Remember when they said the Ukraine war, we also support the Ukraine war because Russia's military is being degraded? Nigga, the ruling class, the dipshit ruling class demilitarized themselves in order to support NATO. They demilitarized themselves in order to commit a genocide in Palestine. You think I'm bullshitting? This headline is from last winter. The data's cut off, but it's from last year. Look, U.S. depleted its missile. The U.S. depleted its missiles in Ukraine and Israel. Now it wants more fast. But experts say that under current conditions, that may be impossible. Oops. Oops. I was accidentally caught arming Nazis in Ukraine. Now we can't start a regime change war in Iran that we dreamed about. Base Vladimir Putin. Giant W for Vladimir Putin. I found this to be greatly enjoyable. Look, and this is what is related to the Pentagon warning today. The Pentagon warned Trump of risk in potential Iran military campaign. Senior military officials have raised concerns about casualties. So they're like, bro, we're going to get fucking smoked. We're going to get smoked if you do this dipshit. I know you got caught in the Epstein files. I know Marion Howdison owns your ass. But we're going to get fucking hammered. Look, strained munition stockpiles. Look, this is corporate media. This is from Wall Street Journal. Admitting that we strained and depleted and demilitarized ourselves. And now we won't be able to sustain defense against Iranian ballistic missiles, which they have a large stockpile of. You know why? Because Iran are not bombing other countries. And they're not committing a genocide. So they're not running out of their ballistic missiles. And now they've been stockpiling like crazy since last year. They've been going to work. They've been in the lab cooking after all the Iranians, over 1,000 Iranians, maybe a few hundred that died during the 12-day war. Sorry if I misquote the number there. But there was hundreds of Iranians that was murdered during the 12-day war. And they, ever since then, they're in the lab cooking, making ballistic missiles, preparing for the West to engage in their next step because they know their nuclear program isn't done. Meanwhile, our munitions are fucked. You want to know what's hilarious? And shout out to this account to bring this to my attention. Look, the United States government has been trying to hide how much their weapon stockpiles have been depleted due to Chinese rare earth export restrictions. Remember how Donald Trump started a trade war with China? And China was like, hey, man, no more rare earth minerals for you then. And they was like, fuck. That's unfair, China. You can't do that. Scott Benson was like, you can't do that. I know we wanted to wage war against you, but you can't stop us from getting your rare earth minerals. You guys see how this administration has been a disaster and has set the United States empire back. And it's glorious if you're an anti-imperialist like us. It's glorious if you want to see the capitalist class delegitimized. So he was responding to the Washington Post. Look, how bad is it when the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, and all these Zionist-controlled outlets, even they was like, bro, I think RBN and them is right, man. I think we're fucked. I think we're fucked, man. Breaking news, the Pentagon top general has cautioned President Trump from an attack on Iran. So all the corporate media got the same. Right as the war is about to start, they was able to get it delayed. Now they're like, man, we got to leak to the media now. We have no choice because Donald Trump lost his damn mind. Look, breaking this from DropSite, Israeli intelligence concludes that even with the imminent arrival of U.S. Gerald Ford, the United States could only sustain 4 to 5 days of intense aerial strikes. Bro, we're about to get cooked. And we got a bunch of soldiers that have no morale. They don't know why they're fighting this fucking war. They already pissed off. They're missing holidays. They're missing their children's birthdays. I got the receipt somewhere. There's reporting showing that soldier morale on these deployments to Iran is at an all-time low. So they don't give a fuck. They demoralized. Meanwhile, the Iranian people are excited to defend their homeland. They damn near line up Like they about to fight for Wakanda. Harambe! Harambe! They doing these rallies, but they like death to America, Harambe! We square up. We will fucking die to defend our homeland. Compared to how excited Iran is to defend their people to just some college kid who only signed up because they want free college. Some young adult who only wants to escape the poverty of capitalism. That's the only reason they joined the military. Who is more motivated to fight this war? On top of that, to continue this tweet, Israeli intelligence conclude that even with the imminent arrival of USS Gerald Ford, the United States could only sustain 4 to 5 days of intense aerial strikes or about a week of lower intensity operations. Jesus Christ. They did not plan this at all. And this is why I was mentioning earlier, the deployment is already a disaster, fam. You've seen the stories about the toilet shortages. You guys know that they sent these massive deployments out, and they didn't make enough toilets for all the soldiers and troops. So in order to use the restroom, this is just one example about the shit show we are seeing. In order to use the restroom, these soldiers have to wait 45 minutes to an hour. There are these long queuing lines. People gotta take a shit. They gotta wait 45 minutes, and it's an absolute disaster. 100 functioning. This is someone else who read it apparently. 100 functioning toilets for 4,600 people. And the reason why this is going around because it's just a macrocosm of how horrific this is and how this is already a disaster. President Trump's decision to extend for a second time the deployment of the aircraft carrier USS Gerald Ford is taking a toll on the ship's sailors and their families. Bro, they're already tired of this shit, and the war haven't even started yet. Oh my God, bro. Look, it takes a toll on U.S. soldiers. Bro, the war haven't even started yet. And y'all niggas already tired of this shit. Meanwhile, in Iran, they're like, who won pay? Who won pay? To America. Who do you guys think is going to break first in this scenario? Man, almost running out of time. State of the Union to start soon. But the Uniparty, I'm gonna show you guys this just a little bit. I have a little bit of time because Fox News, it seems like even they're kind of getting cold feet. So I want to show you guys this quickly before we get to the State of the Union. This is how Fox News is reacting to this because obviously Donald Trump, he responded to this report. He was like, fake news. You know what he always say. He's like, fake news. If we go to war with Iran, we're going to obliterate them. Sure, bro. Sure. The same way you obliterate their nuclear stockpiles, right? So Donald Trump is obviously denying it. The neocons in the media who paid to push war, they've been on damage control ever since this report by the Pentagon came out because it's not coming from a radical anti-imperialist commie like me who've been warning about the failures of the United States going to war with Iran. This is coming from their top general, bro. That's coming from military specialists who like, man, if you guys follow these Israelis on this war, you're going to get cooked. So before the State of the Union, let's watch a little bit of propaganda. Let's do some propaganda report. And I want to show you guys, and I want to react to how the neocons are reacting to this report and the fact that Donald Trump is obviously has cold feet. So this is Fox News. I know it's going to suck, but we got to watch our enemies. So let's listen to this a little bit.
Is trying to figure out his next steps with Iran, but a new report suggests some members of his own team are worried about sparking a full-out war in the region.
Stephanie? No shit, dipshit. Of course there's going to be a full-out war. You got to tell, even Fox News like, hold up. I don't know about this. Don't get me wrong. They still want the war, but even they're like, man, this is not going to be a cakewalk. But anyway, sorry. I'll let it play. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back to respond more in detail.
Next steps with Iran, but a new report suggests some members of his own team are worried about sparking a full-out war in the region.
Stephanie Bennett joins us live now from London with the latest. Stephanie. Good morning. Yeah, President Donald Trump's top general is highlighting the potential risks with striking Iran. Now, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane has warned it could lead to the possibility of a prolonged conflict in the region. It comes after the president said last week that if no deal is reached over Iran's nuclear program within the next 10 days, he could take military action. Now, according to that Axios report, they wrote, quote, while Kane was all in on the Venezuela operation, he has been more cautious in the discussions around Iran, two sources said. While Kane sees the stakes of a major operation in Iran as higher, with a greater risk for entanglement and American casualties. President Trump hit back on Truth Social, writing, quote, the story does not attribute this vast wealth of knowledge to anyone and is 100% incorrect. General Kane, like all of us, would like not to see war, but if a decision is made on ongoing against Iran at a military level, it is his opinion that it will be something easily won. President Trump went on to say he'd prefer to make a deal, but if they don't, it will be a very bad day for Iran. For now, the U.S. State Department has ordered all non-essential staff to leave its embassy in Beirut. That's roughly 50 people. And the U.S. is increasing its military presence in the Middle East, including the world's largest warship, the USS Gerald R. Ford. Iran has warned it will retaliate if attacked, with U.S. bases in the region seen as potential targets. Anti-government protests in Tehran picked back up this weekend, and yesterday, the first rallies since January's deadly crackdown by authorities that killed thousands. The government says students can continue, but must not cross red lines like disrespecting the national flag and other sacred items. For now, talks between both sides will continue in Geneva on Thursday. Back to you guys.
Stephanie Bennett, thank you. Let's bring in Fox News contributor and former CIA station chief Dan Hoffman. Dan, short of complete capitulation to U.S. demands on their nuclear program, does Iran have any off-ramps to avoid conflict at this point?
Well, Iran has talked about agreeing to perhaps an interim deal where there may be some agreement on the nuclear program as a way to find that off-ramp you talked about.
So, like the Obama nuclear deal that Donald Trump pulled out of, you guys see how the Trump administration is desperate to bring something that they can frame as a victory to the American people, even though they have checkmate. So Iran was like, hey, man, if you want to save face, you can just go back to that nuclear deal that we want. The reason why Iran want this nuclear deal, and it frustrates the shit out of multipolarists and people who are anti-imperialists, we're like, nigga, when you build the fucking bomb, the fuck you doing? You see how Kim Jong-un secured sovereignty for his people? So why the fuck are you negotiating with the West? Now, that shows how the West is bad faith and how the Iranian people are peace-loving. Because they're like, bro, it goes against our faith. It goes against our God to have a nuclear weapon. So do you guys see how the narrative about how Iran is desperate to get a nuclear weapon, how they're desperate to plunge us into nuclear war? That's pure neocon slop. That's pure goy slop if you're repeating that. Let's watch a little bit more of this, and then we got State of the Union in like 15 minutes, which I am not looking forward to. But since I think it's important for us to watch it, though. But let's continue this a little bit, and then I'm going to show you guys how the Democratic Party is trying to do everything they can to avoid supporting the War of Power resolution that Ro Khanna supports. So this is supported by the duopoly. We're going to get to him very soon.
The United States would not launch kinetic strikes. But keep in mind that there are so many issues here between the United States and Iran. Remember, the Trump administration withdrew from the JCPOA because there were sunset clauses on Iran's nuclear program, and the JCPOA never addressed Iran's ballistic missile program or their support to proxy terrorists in the region.
For those Americans who are watching the situation in Iran and saying, why are we getting involved? That's a situation over there. I thought Oklahoma Senator and Armed Services Committee member Mark Wayne Mullen had a really interesting analysis of it all on hand.
You guys see how Fox News and neocons are frustrated? They're like, why are the American people questioning our war? Because polls show that the majority of the American people do not support war with Iran because it has nothing to do with us. And have you ever seen these Zionist scumbags try to sell the idea that we got to fight a war on behalf of Iran? And you'd be like, hey, man, how do we benefit from that? Oh, well, don't you know that Iran want to attack our good ally Israel? Nigga, I don't give a fuck about Israel. If they can't defend themselves without our taxpayer money, they don't deserve to exist. Now what? Well, don't you know that Iran want to murder all Americans? Nigga, Iran haven't murdered no Americans. You know who's been murdering Americans? The state of Israel. Remember how Ukraine murdered an American, Gonzalo Lira? Remember how Israel murdered the Palestinian American journalist Shireen Abdul Akla? The only one who's murdering Americans is Israel, who is not real. And if they can't defend itself with our taxpayer money and they fail to establish their greater Israel project by the strength of their own forces, they can go fuck themselves. And so let's see how, I don't remember seeing this at all. So let's see how I think I'll probably rage quit at this point, to be honest, when I first saw this segment. So we will end it at this point because let's see what they say in order to sell to the American people who are quickly turning against the Iran war why they should support. So let's hear his argument.
The region.
For those Americans who are watching the situation in Iran and saying, why are we getting involved? That's a situation over there. I thought Oklahoma Senator and Armed Services Committee member Mark Wayne Mullen had a really interesting analysis of it all on Hannity last night. Listen.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
This isn't about regime change. This is about our economy. Like it or not, we have a world economy. We're tied into the world economy, and everything revolves around energy. It does. And with Iran becoming a nuclear threat in that region, they can shut down the Suez Canal. They can shut down the shipping.
No, you guys realize if we go to war with Iran, energy prices will skyrocket. Iran already said, bro, the cost of oil is going to skyrocket. Once they shut down the Straits of Hormuz, the American people, the Western working class will suffer. The fact that this man is making it seems like, I guess I stopped it prematurely, but it seems like he was making the argument that we should go to war with Iran because it will benefit the American people economically? Who believes this stupid shit? Anyway, let's let him finish his argument, and then we got State of the Union coming up. Holy, what a horrific argument.
This is about our economy. Like it or not, we have a world economy. We're tied into the world economy, and everything revolves around energy. It does. And with Iran becoming a nuclear threat in that region, they can shut down the Suez Canal, they can shut down the shipping lanes, and they can make oil prices extremely volatile because of just simple threats, because they will be the only nuclear power in the Middle East. The president is looking at this as America First agenda because he can't allow that volatility to take place.
Dan, do you
I don't like to hear this guy respond. Who gives a fuck? The saddest thing about this is how they are trying to frame it as an American first agenda to go to war with Iran, and they can't even pretend to make a coherent argument about that. He's like, well, we gotta make sure Iran doesn't have nukes because that would be a threat to United States national security. No, that's a threat to Israel's goal of achieving the greater Israel project. The reason why these neocons and these genocidal Epstein monsters don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon, the reason why they freaked out about Kim Jong-un and his family developing a nuclear weapon is because they won't be able to bully them. They won't be able to take over their sovereignty. They won't be able to tell Iran what to do. They won't be able to kill and commit a genocide against their people. So nuclear proliferation is the only thing that is stopping the genocidal United States ruling class. So it hurts me to say this, but the best thing that peace movements can root for and cheer for is nuclear proliferation. We need Iran to get a nuke. We need Answer Allah to get a nuke. We need these motherfuckers to get a nuke because that's the only way you can stop and slow down the United States empire. Nuclear proliferation is their number one threat to their dominance, which shows how honorable the Iranian people are that they are willing to give this up because they don't want to doom humanity, right? But before we get to the State of the Union, I have to show you guys how, of course, the Democratic Party, they support the war with Iran. I caught MSNBC. I clipped this so many times, how they manufacturing consent with war with Iran. And there's a reason why all these Democratic leaders, what's popping, Zoya? Zoya's love, Zoya's life is not. What's popping, my friend? What's popping, Zoya? There's a reason why Democratic Party politicians have been suspiciously muted over this whole conflict with Iran, because they secretly support it. They are owned by the same Jewish supremacist scum as well. Chuck Schumer is Jewish supremacist scum. He deserves, like, we need to go after these people the same way they had Nuremberg trials. Like, this is him endorsing Donald Trump's war with Iran because they had this classified briefing with the Gang of Eight about Iran. So they had this big briefing where all our senators and foreign policy people in the Senate will discuss the issue. And of course, they're selling the war. The Gang of Eight and their intelligence people, they're here to sell the war to the senators. They're here to coach them on how they should sell the war. And this is Chuck Schumer after meeting with these people about war with Iran.
This is serious, and the administration has to make its case to the American people.
This is the person who claims he opposes Trump. And he is like, Trump, come on, make the argument on why we should murder people. Donald Trump, you're doing a bad job selling why we need to start a global conflict that may lead to World War III. This is the opposition party. This is the person that people like Bernie Sanders is afraid to call out. Listen to this.
And the administration has to make its case to the American people. This is serious, and the administration has to make its case to the American people.
So the uniparty is all in. You have Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie who's starting a war powers resolution to stop this from happening. And you want to know who is doing their best to stop Ro Khanna and the Democratic Party? Look, top Democrats are working behind the scenes to stop a vote on the Khanna Massie Iran war powers resolution. Wow. And this is the party that people want you to vote for in the midterms. You guys see how the midterms is nothing but political theater where the Jewish supremacists will win no matter what. So yeah, I will only cancel Nick for not liking my jokes. I love your jokes. Don't play with me, Zoya. Don't play with me. Zoya's love, Zoya's life. This is the opposition party. Democrats are working behind the scenes to stop a vote on the Khanna Massie Iran war powers resolution, a vote that will force every member of Congress to go on record over Trump's potential regime change war. So they're doing everything they can so you don't have to go on record. So the senators and the congressmen won't have to deal with the pressures of crossing the Israeli lobby because, fam, if you've seen the Zionist propaganda on this, they are serious. It's fucking go time for them, man. They are putting maximum pressure on everybody. They want this war right now. And they're like, Trump, if you don't start this war, we're going to release more Epstein file shit on you. We're going to leak shit on you. And before we get to the State of the Union that will be starting any minute now, I'm sure. Here's Ted Cruz making the argument. This is the uniparty's war that they are obsessed over. And they're going to do everything they can to get it. They don't care how many casualties it caused. They don't care if the working class struggles. They don't care if the soldiers are demoralized. But despite everything I just showed you, despite the warnings from the Pentagon, despite the fact that this is clearly going to be a disaster, here's Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, who literally told Tucker Carlson that his job is to represent and fight on behalf of Israel. He literally said he's here to get elected to fight for Israel back in the day. This is him selling the war. Here we go.
We're at a moment, Joe, where in the next 6 months, we could realistically see the regimes in Iran, Venezuela, and Cuba all fall, and we could see them replaced with governments that want to be friends with America. Now, let me be clear. There are 1,000 ways that can go wrong, so I'm not being Pollyannish about that. But if that happened, that would be the biggest geopolitical shift since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And so,
if that happened, humanity will plunge into an era of darkness unlike we never seen before. We are already living in a dark chapter of humanity, whether people know it or not. A lot of Americans are in denial over how history is going to talk about us. They're going to talk about the United States in a way that will make Hitler blush. Like when they calculate all the people we murdered, all the pain and suffering the United States empire was responsible for. They're gonna be like, and they're gonna look at the crimes Epstein committed and how that was covered up. They're gonna look at Gaza and how Palestinians are being tortured and raped to death, how their organs are being stolen from their body, sometimes while they're still alive. The mass torture they are going through. They're gonna look at this entire era as an era of darkness on humanity before the anti-Epstein coalition, before the revolution, before shit got violent, before whoever generation overthrow the ruling class, whether it's our generation, whether it's Gen Z, whether they're kids, they're gonna look back like, holy fuck. I know things got pretty messy during the revolution, but we needed that. We needed to do that shit. You see this guy named Ted Cruz? They're gonna be looking at it and be like, the guy Ted Cruz supported the war in Iraq, the war in Iraq. Do you see what he said? How the Palestinians deserve to die in Gaza? Bro, history is gonna fuck us up. Fuck this era up. They're gonna, whether you boomer or not. I know people get upset when I say this shit, but boomers, your generation is gonna get fucking destroyed. It's already happening. Like, you already seen how Gen Z and how we feel about. Bro, history is gonna destroy your generation for enabling the Epstein class, over smearing people as conspiracy theorists because they said that the ruling class engaged in satanic rituals, and the boomers are, you guys are conspiracy theories. Don't you know you're supposed to love and respect your ruling class? They went from being hippies to being establishment supporters. So yeah, history is gonna be awful to people like Ted Cruz. So State of the Union will be starting here soon. So let's read some super chats first before we get to. Maybe I have the feed up. Okay, let me put the feed up because at this point we already had an hour of ranting and raving. This is just the first. I guess here's CBS. This is Barry Wise, but there's not a lot of good options here. I was like, I don't want to see it. That's Barry Wise, but then they're CNN like, nigga, I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna win. So I just gotta pick whatever source. I just found the first YouTube channel. If I'm gonna choose the lesser two evil, I'm choosing CNN over Barry White. So let's watch the CNN stream on this. So I'll have this. We have this in the background. Let's read some super chats. Let's wait for this. Once again, I'm not playing. I'm not staying up all night for this shit. You guys out of your damn mind. I'm not doing no 2-hour stream on this shit. I'm not doing no 30 minutes. I'm not doing no 90. No, I might cover this for like 30, 40 minutes. Might do my analysis and then we dip in. Because I am gonna watch it no matter what, so I might as well do it live, right? Nick acting like what? What, bro? Nick acting like the No King protests aren't making a difference. What difference did they make other than helping Democrats write a book? Please explain to me the policy wins of the working class. I'm glad that we are expanding our reach and we're getting this kind of comments now. I love it. Bro, you guys did a No King protest only for the Democratic Party to support Donald Trump in his genocide. You guys did a No King protest just so you guys can join Donald Trump in arresting and committing war crimes against the Venezuelan people. Like, what are you talking about, No King shit? You talking about No Kings? There are Democrats who you guys can't replace in your party. Like, you guys said No Kings. Nigga, Nancy Pelosi was your queen for decades. You guys have queens. You guys have kings. And your rallies are not doing shit. Your rally are glorified fundraising mechanisms for the Democratic Party. And the fact that you think, I would love to, let's discuss this out. Like, what the fuck? Oh, yeah, maybe I'm a dumbass. Maybe that was sarcasm. Damn it. Maybe it was. I just want some liberals to come in our chat one day. Now that I think about it, maybe it is sarcasm. It has to be. Yeah, it has to be sarcasm. Now that I think about it. Because I'm thinking, like, bro, how the fucking liberal get in our comment section? Now I think about it, most likely was sarcasm. I want to be raised baited, bro. I'll be watching the chat like, man, am I ever going to get a Democrat here that I can roast? They gave up trying to troll my chat a long time ago. What the fuck is it? Are they gonna start this? Some more stuff we could cover, but I don't have enough time to do a segment on them. What are they streaming here on CNN? They got 15,000 viewers, so I'm pretty sure it's about to pop off on the channel. What the fuck is this about, though? Let's look. Trump State of the Union. Yeah, what the fuck?
a night like tonight with all of this attention focused
Oh, I guess that's
on
where the State of the
Union
Union address is going to be
address.
at.
So, Sagar, let's come back for a minute and kind of talk about.
I definitely don't want to hear from you guys. But I guess we use the stream as our watching party.
What's
But I guess since we have some time, they're running a little bit late, I guess. What time is it supposed to start? Oh, it don't start till 8. Oh, hell no. Nah. Oh, hell. I'm thinking like, bro, what? I don't know why I thought it started at 7. Hell no. Nah. That's the reason why I didn't go live into an hour. I thought it was starting at, oh, well, it's not a fucking big deal. I ain't staying that damn late. So I'll cover Trump's Unpopularity. I was live 90 minutes. I'm going to make this an hour live because I'm not covering this shit. You guys out of your mind. Hell nah. We'll do a wrap-up segment. I may talk about it later, but hell no, I ain't covering this shit. Let me read some super chats and let's get out of here. That motherfucker late as hell. Let's read some super chats. Let's get out of here. I ain't watching that shit. Nick, I'm gonna do a segment on. I got a Netanyahu segment I want to quickly cover, and then we get out of here. I got one more quick segment that we'll do. Nick, you are kicking ass, even if you don't feel like it. Thank you for your strength and speaking the real. Absolutely, I appreciate you guys. Even if I'm radicalizing a small audience, I used to talk shit. I would have like 30 people watch me back in the day. So don't get me wrong, guys. I feel blessed that I have thousands of people who watch my YouTube, and every single person I want to radicalize. That's why I still do this shit. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter that the algorithms are suppressing us. We just trying to reach as many people as possible. So I appreciate the solidarity, my friend. So let's close this shit. Hell no. Hell no. Maybe I should have went live later, but hell no. This motherfucker will be talking. I'm not watching this shit for 2 hours anyway. Like, I remember I covered the last State of the Union. I regret it. I was like, bro, this shit's boring as fuck. I was like, this shit's boring as fuck. So it don't really matter. Yeah, do distance coverage. Everyone's covering it anyway. So yeah, everyone's covering it anyway. Stream all night, Nick. Yeah, big shout out to my friend. I appreciate your support, Beezus. Let's just read the super chats. I'm gonna do my segment on Netanyahu, and I might get the fuck out of here. Thing is, I could easily stall and do a 2-hour live stream. I have enough content to do a 2-hour live stream, but then I don't want to watch the State of the Union, and I'll probably watch it 30 minutes after. Hell no. Nah. So let's do this last segment I have planned, and then we can get out of here. You guys hear my thoughts about it later. There's also Peter Mandelson being arrested in the UK over at the Epstein files. There's still a fucking ton to cover. The State of the Union is not that important to me. There's still way more stuff to cover. So we're going to get to Netanyahu next, a short segment on Netanyahu. His address, that's insane. Let me pull it up here. Maybe I can see what in Hotspot, they post a lot of great videos as well. I wanted to go live today no matter what because I wasn't live on Monday. I just needed another day after everything. We had our banger stream on Sunday. So I had to go live today, but the State of the Union is not that important. I enjoy you too, my friend. Thank you. Quick, send super chats asking Nick to explain. The thing is, even if I stream for another hour, I wouldn't have the Emmy to cover the State of the Union at that point. Hell no. I covered the State of the Union address last year, and I remember I told you guys I regretted it. Got like, bro, this shit was a massive waste of our fucking time. So let's read some more super chats, and we're gonna cover Netanyahu in this segment here. Sheepdogs like Kalinsky and Piker waste the times of millions of desperate people. We cannot afford to lose any more time. We must expose them and win their followers. Absolutely. That's the goal of New RBN. That's the goal of Tanky RBN. We're here to win over the working class and destroy the ideology of democratic socialism and liberalism in the West that has tanked the working class. So if you was to sum up the mission statement of New RBN, that's it in a nutshell. Let's crush the liberalism that's rotted the minds of the people in the West. Let's move past democratic socialism and towards something revolutionary. So let's cover this segment shortly. I truly can't do it. I always do these long 2-hour, 3-hour streams, but I'm gonna keep it around 90 minutes today. I'm not gonna do a long stream today. But let's cover Netanyahu, who is personally thanking AIPAC for buying out the American Congress and standing with Israel in the face of a tsunami of anti-Semitism. How does the American people just accept this foreign genocidal fuck who consistently smear the American people and advocate for corruption in our system? Listen to this.
Greetings from Jerusalem. To all my friends in AIPAC, the first thing I want to say is thank you, AIPAC. Thank you for standing with Israel. Thank you for standing with the American-Israeli alliance. And thank you for standing up for the truth. Now, I know that's not been easy because over the past 2 years, we've all been subjected to a tsunami of lies, vilifications, vituperations that are reminiscent of the worst anti-Semitic attacks in history. I know you and AIPAC have been suffering such attacks. The American Jewish community and other Jewish communities have suffered not only anti-Semitic slurs, but also...
Will you guys get mad if I call this person a slur? But the same people, they will cancel me for calling Netanyahu a slur. But sorry, let's move on. Cancel me or not, I believe that we should call Netanyahu a slur. That's what I believe.
And other Jewish communities have suffered not only anti-Semitic slurs, but also murderous attacks. And of course, so did we in Israel. We suffered on October 7th a brutal attack that was meant to destroy us, to wipe Israel off the map. That's what the Iran Axis sought to do on October 7th. Iran's proxies sought and seek to annihilate the Jewish people, and their patron Iran sought and seeks to annihilate the Jewish state. But for the past 2 years, since October 7th, we've rolled them back. We fought a seven-front war against this axis of evil. And thanks to the incredible courage of our soldiers, we rolled back this threat to our existence and to our future. We battered Hamas, we hammered Hezbollah, we helped bring down the murderous Assad regime, we struck the Houthis.
And now you guys see why Israel is hated all around the world. They are obsessed with plunging not only the region, but the world into endless war. And here's Netanyahu, because what I find funny about that is how he's like, man, Democrats and AIPAC, you guys been going through it, man. I know AIPAC has been attacked. Fam, the Democratic Party is running away from AIPAC. Don't get me wrong, they're getting funding through other nefarious methods. But look at this headline. I got put up this way because this is ad blocked. But look, the Democratic Party's breakup with AIPAC is almost complete. Fortunately, the article is locked, so I'm gonna just read the headline on that. Bro, the American people are abandoning Israel en masse, and they know it. So now AIPAC is like secretly donating to candidates, and candidates are trying to lie and claim they have nothing to do with Israel. Look at this headline. Prominent Jewish Democratic donor laments the Jew hate in the party. Bro, you guys have suburban Democratic voting wine moms that are like, from the river to the sea, Palestine should be free. That's how much they hate your ass. Look, Gavin Newsom, who was like, man, I'm just like you black people. I can't read either. Bro, the 2028 campaign is already peak comedy. Did you guys see that? But Gavin Newsom was like, he was talking to like some black liberals or whatever. He's like, man, people think I'm a elitist, but you understand, I'm just like you. I can't read either. Oh my! I didn't have time to do a segment on that, but I probably should, dude. That shit would fucking clap. You're done, bro. Like you're done. Yeah, I know that they're using shell companies, they're using front groups. They're still getting money to the Democrats. Do not get it twisted, my friends. But this shows how AIPAC is losing a ton of influence. Look, AIPAC. Look, I think this is what you're talking about. We just saw here. I think this is an article what you were just talking about. AIPAC accused of covert campaigning as Democratic support falters. So the Democratic Party, like, bro, you guys are toxic to us. They're not opposing them in the corruption on principle. They're like, bro, you guys are toxic. So they're like, fuck that dude. And that's what Netanyahu is referring to. Then you have this. I'll just read the quote on this one. How long is this? I actually have a hard time listening to Netanyahu, but this is another one where he's essentially calling for fascism to be implemented in America because the people hate these Jewish supremacist scum so much. Listen.
We've been vilified and falsely accused of genocide at the very moment when, according to John Spencer, head of urban warfare studies at West Point and perhaps the world's greatest expert on urban warfare, he said Israel applied more measures to prevent civilian casualties than any military in the history of urban warfare. Bruh. That is the truth. Radical voices on the left spread lies about genocide. Radical voices on the right demand that Jews take DNA tests.
Hey, you cocksucker, you Polish fuck. I'm on the left, and I believe you should take a DNA test. Fam, Tucker Carlson interviewed Mike Huckabee and did so much damage that there's like political blowback. I want to see if I can find this receipt. There's like massive political blowback after Mike Huckabee explaining to Tucker that his Christian Zionism mean that Israel can take over the entirety of the Middle East. And he was pushing him on basic stuff like Zionism. Like, hey man, why are you guys saying that these are the homeland of people from Poland and Europeans? And that's why Netanyahu mentioned that. They said, oh, people on the right are claiming that we don't have the rightful claim to this land. Hey, sir, that has been a left-wing argument way before Tucker Carlson made that. Motherfucker, that is what we've been saying on the left forever. We've been calling you white boys. And I mean, people got pissed at me. I was like, bro, you guys are white boys cosplaying as Middle Eastern. That has been a left-wing argument. Kwame Ture used to make this argument all the time. How anti-Semitism isn't real because the real Semitic people are actually the Palestinians, and the people who are the people who form Israel are these people from the Caucasian mountain. They're from the Caucasus Mountains. They're Polish. They're Eastern Europeans cosplaying as Middle Eastern. They're like from New Jersey, New York. They broke down the passports of the people who served in the genocide. And it's like Americans, Europeans. And I thought this was funny. Look, Trump team on damage control mode after Huckabee's comments on Israel. Senior officials have called Arab officials to explain that a Huckabee comment that Israel can control as much of the Middle East did not signal a policy shift. So these Muslim Zionist traitors in the Gulf states who enable and support the state of Israel and condemn Palestinian resistance, these traitors are just now realizing that Christian Zionism is an extremist ideology. So I don't want to hear y'all fucking bullshit and complain and virtue signal on behalf of your population who do support Palestine, because guys, never give the ruling class of these Gulf states any fucking credit. Any statement that they make pretending to support Palestine is the result of one thing only, and that's the Arab people in the Middle East who support the Palestinian people, so they gotta pretend they do. Motherfucker, you guys know what the Christian Zionists believe. Nigga, you know the Greater Israel Project is coming. You just okay with riding the ship because you benefit from it. So I don't want you guys know. I saw someone get offended at me, like just one person, because they thought I was trashing all the people in Jordan because the Jordan royal family are fucking traitors. You guys know they was helping Israel shoot down rockets that Iran was firing to Israel, the Jordan royal family or whatever. Like the Egypt prime minister, they was helping Israel. And I was like, fuck these Muslim Zionists. And I think I admit I probably was a little bit sloppy. I should have let people know that I wasn't talking about the ordinary person in Egypt and Jordan. Because if you poll those people, it's overwhelmingly in support of the Palestinian resistance. It's like if you poll people in Saudi Arabia, I'm not too sure about UAE. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I'm not sure about the UAE. UAE is Muslim Zionist as fuck. Someone let me know if I'm wrong about that. If anyone knows numbers about the UAE. But I know all these Muslim Zionist traitors, they are betraying their people. So I don't want you guys to think I'm shitting on all of them. I'm shitting on the ruling class the same way I'm shitting on the ruling class in the UK when I shit on them. The same way I'm shitting on the ruling class of France and Germany. You know what I mean? So I just want to say that for the few people who didn't know that, they are victims of Zionist authoritarian fascism like we are. So I'm gonna shut up because I can't afford to do another long stream tonight. I'll be back this week. Me and Zoya, we are in the lab cooking. We have a lot of banger content coming up. I have a hotspot video that I'm releasing tonight. I got a hotspot video I'm gonna record tomorrow in the morning. I have my homie Rathbone I'm gonna hit up. I'm gonna hit Nico House up. We got a lot of shows planned in the new era of RBN, so I'm gonna keep this around 70 to 90 minutes. Let me read some super chats that I missed, and we can get out of here. And I'm gonna watch State of the Union. I don't feel like I don't have to stay long to cover it because it's gonna be a waste of time anyway. I do think it's worth watching because it's gonna be interesting to see how Trump spins his historic unpopularity, his statements about Iran. Obviously, the Supreme Court shot down the tariffs. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, Sarah, I love Sarah. Sarah is definitely coming back. I'm gonna ride or die for Sarah. Sarah's coming back. All the homies coming back. So we got a lot of content coming up. So I'm gonna keep this a moderate episode. Let's read some super chats though. On my next show, I might give some more thoughts, but it's gonna be, spoiler alert, Donald Trump is gonna be extremely low energy. He's gonna be rambling, going off script. It's gonna be long and fucking boring. You guys remember how much I regretted live streaming that shit? I was like, I'm gonna do something different. You know what I mean? Let's see if I can get reach some new followers if I stream the State of the Union. Bro, I was miserable. That stream was fucking miserable. So I was gonna do it if it started while I was live, but hey, fuck it. If it's too damn late for that shit, hell no. There's plenty of channels out streaming it. So you guys can get my thoughts on Twitter for sure. They know AIPAC is toxic, but there are dozens of front organizations. Yeah, absolutely. They use to money launder these shields of duopoly. Thank you, Marcus, for your super chat. I appreciate that. Marcus is the homie. Red Operative Johnny, thank you for super sticker. I read this one. Just want to make sure I'm not reading. I didn't miss any. I read this one. Yeah, I think I'm caught up. This is the Cold Pink super chat. So, yeah, I appreciate the solidarity super chat here. Oh, bro, I love Jody Barr as well. So Jody is our teacher. Jody is our educator. Jody is our comrade. Joy, she's the auntie for real. Like, I love Jody Barr. I stand for her. But yeah, we got a lot of big guests coming on soon. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the new era of RBN. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Sorry for not showing the State of the Union, but fuck that shit. So have a good night, my friends. Take care.